Ladies, let's talk about something real today. Not just attraction, not just chemistry, but those peak moments, those intense flashes when a man feels a deep, almost magnetic physical desire for a woman. And no, it's not just about how you look. It's about who you're being. Because what creates real desire in a man goes far beyond physical appearance. It's rooted in energy, emotion, and timing. So let's dive into 7 moments when a man feels the strongest physical desire for a woman. When it comes to attraction, many people believe that physical desire in men is primarily visual, that it begins and ends with what he sees. While physical appearance certainly plays a role, the reality is far more layered. The strongest, most compelling kind of desire that a man feels for a woman is not just about her body. It's about the emotional experience she creates within him. Physical desire, at its core, is driven by emotion first and body second. And when that emotional spark is present, it amplifies the physical pull to a level that pure appearance simply can't touch. Think about it. A man might see countless beautiful women in a day on the street, online, or on social media. But that doesn't mean he feels a deep, overwhelming desire for each of them. What separates a passing glance from a craving connection is emotion. It's the difference between looking at someone and feeling something because of who they are being in that moment. When a woman radiates confidence, when she carries a warmth in her smile or a playfulness in her tone, when she expresses something real and unfiltered, those emotional cues register in a man more deeply than any outfit or makeup ever could, because men are often taught not to speak openly about their emotional responses, but that doesn't mean they aren't having them. In fact, many men experience desire most powerfully when there is emotional intrigue. It might be the way a woman carries herself when she walks into a room, commanding attention without saying a word, or the way she listens with genuine interest, making him feel seen and valued. It might be the way she responds with compassion or humor, creating a moment of connection that bypasses logic and lands straight in his chest. That emotional presence stirs something deep. It makes her memorable, and that memory becomes physical. When a man feels emotionally connected or emotionally activated, whether through curiosity, admiration, tension, or play, his physical desire rises with it. This is why certain moments linger in his mind, even if he can't fully explain why. Maybe it was the spark in her eye when she challenged his opinion with grace. Maybe it was the way she broke into laughter at something only they understood. Maybe it was the stillness in her presence when she wasn't trying to impress anyone, just being entirely herself. These are emotional moments, and yet they drive physical reaction. They create a craving, not just to be near her, but to touch, to hold, to be drawn closer to her world. What often gets overlooked is that men don't just want to look at a woman, they want to feel something through her. They want to feel like they matter, like they're trusted, respected, or even inspired. When a woman can offer that kind of emotional experience, not through manipulation or performance, but through her authenticity, it creates a much deeper kind of desire. One that isn't fleeting, one that doesn't fade when the lights go out or the makeup comes off. It's the kind of desire that stays in his mind days later, because it was never just about the physical, it was about how she made him feel. This is also why emotional safety and trust can heighten physical desire. When a man feels emotionally safe with a woman, when he knows he can show up as himself, without fear of judgment or rejection, it unlocks his ability to desire more deeply. He's no longer just responding to her surface. He's responding to her soul. In these moments, physical touch becomes more than pleasure. It becomes a way of expressing connection. Eye contact becomes charged. A brush of the hand sends a ripple through his system. These small gestures become magnified because they are charged with emotion. That emotional component also explains why men often speak about the one that got away. It's rarely about her looks. It's about the emotional imprint she left on him. It was how she made him feel alive, challenged, supported, or seen. Those emotional memories linger longer than any physical ones, and they continue to trigger desire even in her absence. That's the power of emotional chemistry. It weaves its way into physical desire and makes it far more intense, far more consuming. So yes, physical attraction matters, but without emotion, it's temporary. Emotion gives physical desire its depth, its fire, its staying power. When a woman knows how to express herself emotionally through openness, presence, passion, or authenticity, she awakens a desire in a man that goes far beyond the surface. She doesn't just catch his eye, she captures his heart, and with it, his deepest physical hunger. There's a common myth that men want things to be easy when it comes to women in relationships, that they're turned off by challenge or put off by a woman who has standards. But the truth is far more interesting and far more powerful for any woman who understands it. In reality, one of the moments when a man feels the strongest physical desire for a woman is when she challenges him. Not in a combative or argumentative way, but in a way that shows she has depth, clarity, and self-respect. You see, masculine energy is naturally drawn to challenge, not because men enjoy difficulty for the sake of it, but because challenge invites them to rise. It activates their desire to pursue, to impress, to prove, and to engage with a woman on a level that's deeper than surface attraction. A woman who simply agrees with everything, who goes along with whatever he says or does, may be appreciated for her kindness, but she doesn't ignite that same fire. On the other hand, when a woman expresses a boundary, a value, or a thoughtful disagreement with grace and certainty, it immediately elevates her in his eyes. She's no longer just someone he can have. She becomes someone he must earn. That subtle shift from availability to selectiveness transforms her into a mystery. And mystery is the birthplace of desire. Men feel most alive when they're activated, when they sense that their actions matter and that they are being measured against a meaningful standard. A woman who brings this into the dynamic by standing up for her needs, questioning his assumptions, or even walking away from what doesn't feel right, awakens a powerful attraction in him. She's no longer just attractive, she's compelling. She becomes the kind of woman who can't be easily swayed, bought, or manipulated. And that strength is intoxicating. This doesn't mean being rude or combative. It doesn't mean trying to be difficult on purpose. It means being centered in who you are. When a woman challenges a man from a place of self-respect, not ego, not control, he feels it differently. He doesn't experience it as rejection, but as inspiration. He senses that she's a woman with depth, with emotional intelligence, and with a clear sense of what she wants in life and in love. That makes her rare. And people desire what is rare. Imagine a man says something that doesn't sit right with her. And instead of brushing it off or pretending to agree, she calmly says, "Actually, I see that differently." That moment, though small, changes the entire dynamic. She has the courage to disagree without being defensive. She's not trying to be liked. She's being real. And that authenticity paired with confidence creates sexual tension. It's the tension of contrast. Feminine softness meeting inner steel. It's not aggression, it's power. And men feel that power in a way that goes straight to the core of their attraction. What's also key here is the timing and energy of the challenge. A well-placed challenge doesn't come from insecurity or a need to dominate. It comes from a woman who knows her value and isn't afraid to walk away from what doesn't honor it. She might say no to a last-minute date invite. She might hold back physical intimacy until trust is built. She might leave a conversation that's disrespectful or draining. Each of those actions sends a signal. I don't need to please you. I need to be true to myself. That self-honoring behavior creates polarity. It triggers a response in a man that says, wait, who is this woman? And suddenly she's not just attractive, she's unforgettable. What makes these moments so powerful is that they don't just show a man who she is, they show him who he is in relation to her. Her standards force him to reflect, to adjust, to rise. That's why some of the deepest moments of desire happen after a woman challenges a man. It's when she calls him out on his inconsistencies, when she calmly walks away from disrespect, or when she says, "This doesn't work for me," not as a threat, but as a truth. Those words echo in his mind. They stir something deeper than lust. They make him realize he wants to earn her, that she isn't just available, she's valuable. And desire always follows value. So, while it's tempting to avoid conflict or challenge in order to keep the peace or be liked, the irony is that avoiding those moments often deadens attraction. True, lasting, magnetic desire isn't built on smooth surfaces. It's built on friction, honesty, and contrast. And it's in those moments of challenge, when a woman holds firm in her truth, that a man often feels the deepest pull toward her, not just emotionally, but physically, because in her strength, he sees a reflection of the kind of woman he doesn't just want, but needs to fight for. There's something deeply magnetic about a woman who is passionate, who comes alive when she talks about something she loves, who lights up when she's in her element, who feels things deeply and expresses them without apology. This kind of energy is far more attractive to men than perfection could ever be. In a world where people are constantly trying to curate the perfect image on social media, in conversation, in relationships, it's the realness of passion that cuts through the noise. It's raw, it's human, and it's unforgettable. Men may notice physical beauty, but what holds their attention, what stirs a deeper physical and emotional desire, is a woman's vibrance, her excitement, her enthusiasm for life. Perfection might catch his eye for a moment, but passion ignites something visceral. A woman who is deeply connected to what she loves, whether it's her career, her art, a cause, or simply the way she lives, carries a spark that can't be faked. That spark draws people in, especially men, because it reflects authenticity, and authenticity is rare. There's something incredibly powerful about watching someone in their element. A woman who is immersed in her purpose, who loses track of time doing what she loves, who speaks with fire in her voice and conviction in her eyes, becomes radiant. And it's not because she's trying to be sexy. It's because she is connected to something greater than image. That connection gives her depth. It gives her presence. And that presence is intoxicating. It stirs desire not just because she's beautiful, but because she's alive. Perfection, on the other hand, is cold, it's distant, it's an illusion that doesn't invite connection, it creates pressure. A woman trying to be perfect often hides her quirks, her opinions, her feelings in an attempt to appear flawless. But flawless isn't relatable. It doesn't move people. Men don't fall in love with perfect women. They fall in love with real women who are willing to show up as they are, flaws and all. A perfectly posed photo might get a like, but passion sparks obsession. It stays in the memory. It creates emotional fingerprints that linger. Passion speaks to the soul. It reflects purpose and power. When a man sees a woman deeply engaged in something that matters to her, he doesn't just see her beauty, he sees her essence. He sees her fire. And that fire triggers a different kind of physical desire. Not just a desire to touch her, but to understand her, to be near her, to feel what she's feeling. Her excitement becomes contagious. Her focus becomes inspiring. Her drive, her laughter, her tears, her boldness, all of it becomes part of a magnetic pull that's far stronger than anything surface level. This is why men are often drawn to women who have their own lives, their own dreams, their own passions. It's not about being independent just for the sake of being strong. It's about being lit from within. When a woman loves her life, she doesn't look to a man to complete it. She invites him to join it. That invitation feels like a gift, not a demand. And in that space, desire thrives. Because now he's not just responding to her looks, he's responding to her soul's expression. Her passion becomes the stage on which her beauty truly shines. There's also a kind of freedom that comes with passion. A woman who is passionate doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. She doesn't filter her joy or dilute her opinions to be more palatable. She expresses, she laughs loudly, she gets animated when she talks. She sometimes gets messy or emotional or intense, but that's what makes her real. And it's in that realness, in that full spectrum of expression, that men feel the strongest draw. Because now she's not just a pretty face, she's an experience. Being around her feels like something is happening, something meaningful, something alive. This doesn't mean a woman needs to be constantly on or high energy to be passionate. True passion can be quiet too. It can be in the way she speaks about her family, or in how she loses herself in a book, or the gentle way she connects with animals. Passion is less about performance and more about connection. Connection to something real and felt. And men, though often trained to focus on the external, are deeply responsive to that kind of inner fire. They may not always have the language for it, but they feel it. They feel it when she talks about her goals. They feel it when she takes a stand. They feel it when she cries over something that moves her. It's in those moments, unfiltered, imperfect, passionate, that men experience the deepest surge of physical desire. Because now they're not just seeing her, they're feeling her. And that kind of connection is unforgettable.